What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly why you're losing money when trading meme coins on Solana or on Base, on whatever ecosystem you're trading on. And hopefully after watching this video, you're going to be on the right path to make crazy money like I'm currently doing right now. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, make sure to subscribe to this channel because I'm bringing alpha on a daily basis. Leave a like because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and make sure to follow me on X as well because I'm posting a lot of alpha, a lot of calls on it as well. Okay, so this video is not gonna be in any particular order, so I'm just gonna get started, and it's gonna be a bit of a stream of thoughts and, with multiple points that I'm gonna raise. The first one, you don't manage your risk accordingly and you invest more than you can afford to lose. The first thing that you need to understand is that meme coin trading is extremely high risk. So you won't put 100% of your portfolio in it, but rather you're gonna put a lot of tiny allocations, and you're gonna first focus on your safety net. What do I mean by safety net? I mean blue chip crypto. It can be Ethereum, it can be Solana, all these projects that are very high market cap. Of course, I don't need to talk about Ethereum. Solana is another one that I'm super big on. Those constitute a big chunk of my portfolio. So even if my meme coin investments go to zero, I'm still gonna be covered by all of these investments. And if you're looking for the next altcoins, they are still gonna give you like a massive risk to reward ratio and probably good multipliers while keeping your portfolio safe. I do recommend right now Caspa. This is my top altcoin allocation, as a matter of fact. And then I also recommend Lithium. Those are layer one proof of work projects that they're not gonna give you 100x potential from here, but they're still gonna give you very good returns while keeping your portfolio safe. After doing that, your meme coin allocation shouldn't be looking massive. So even if your meme coin investments go to zero, you should be okay with it because you shouldn't invest into meme coins more than you can afford to lose. This should be gambling money. Of course, if you know what you're doing, exactly like I'm doing right now, you can afford to put a larger amount of money. But if you're only getting started, don't put more than 1 or 2% of your portfolio into this high risk place. And you need to be okay with your investments going to absolute zero. If you join my VIP group, of course, I'm going to guide you through this in much more detail, so you're gonna get the best multipliers that you can get out of your meme coin investments. I'm gonna talk about this at the end of the video, so if you guys are interested in joining, make sure to stick around until the end. And to conclude on the first point, when it comes to being overly invested, it's not necessarily financially, but it's also emotionally. If you invest more than you can afford to lose, you're gonna be overly emotionally invested into a project, and because of that, you're gonna be super anxious, you're not gonna be able to take rational decisions, and all these things are gonna drive you nuts. It's not just about the money, it's also about the emotions that you put into a project, because those are going to drive you down and you're going to get rugged on more ways than you can imagine. Okay, the next point is going to be something more practical, and it's buy new launches to set it and forget it. So for instance, if I buy a project like this, just first thing that pops into my screen right now, this project is 390K in market cap. It just launched 10 hours ago. It could go to zero almost immediately. These projects, 99% of these projects that are gonna launch on DEX screeners are gonna be scam. And that is a simple fact, right? Even if they have the liquidity locked, even if they have some green flags, most of them are gonna go to zero. So for instance, I just jumped into this and I saw that the wallet holders are all 0.30%. This means that essentially the dev has created multiple wallets and is gonna make this investment go to zero. So although you might make money in the next hour or so if you buy now and perhaps it goes up, I wouldn't recommend still because this is a massive red flag. But you can't expect to just leave your money for a few days and set it and forget it. If you're trading these meme projects, you're gonna be super active and you're gonna have your screen in front of you almost at all times, or perhaps just follow my buy alerts and sell alerts in my VIP group. But regardless of that, if you're on your own and trading this, you need to be in front of the screen 24/7. You can't just set it and forget it. It's not a blue chip crypto. For me, blue chip crypto would be Tucker, would be Trump Mania, or even the big ones like Dove with Fat or Pepe or whatever. If I'm thinking about those projects, I can set a back and forget it. So for instance, on Tucker, just the other night when we went into this accumulation zone, when we had the big dip, when we were right here, I sent a massive buy alert and I bought a multiple 5-figure bag of Tucker because I do think that this project is going to go into the 1 billion plus in market cap, and it's going to be one of the blue chip crypto when it comes to meme coins during this cycle because of all the Politify narrative and the US presidential elections coming soon, and probably a big top in Q4 this year. Because of that, I don't really care. If we did more, I'm gonna buy more. I can set it and forget it. I don't need to actively trade this project. But if I'm looking for projects that have been born in the last hours or so, then it's a big deal. If you don't know, guys, you can just filter for, what has been launched in the last hour or what has been trending in the last hour. Most of these projects, look, bro, Black Elon Musk. Huh? Look at this. You think that you can just buy now and sell it and forget it? This project is probably going to go to zero, especially because charts like this just look too good to be true. So this is definitely something that you need to keep in mind. There's a big difference between short-term trades, day trades, or even minute or hourly trades and bags that are blue chip and are going to be sell and forget crypto bags. Massive difference right there. Now, the next project is going to be liquidity issues. What do I mean by liquidity issues is that you need to look at this indicator on DEX screener. If there's no lock right there, it means that the liquidity hasn't been burned, the liquidity is not locked, so the project is gonna rug at any moment. Even if there's a lock, there's a chance that this is gonna rug. I'm gonna go through it later on in this video. But if there's not a lock to begin with, then it's a massive red flag and I will stay away from that project at all costs. Also, you need to take into account what's the liquidity like for the market cap of the crypto. So for instance, we have 260K with a 16 million in market cap, almost 70 million. It's quite small, to be honest, for the kind of market cap that this project is. Like usually you'll be looking at a much higher percentage. Honestly, if I was to find one real quick, I will show you. I can't find it in this very moment, but regardless, if I see a project that has very minimal liquidity, then chances are that it's going to be a scam, because even if the value of your investment is very high, you're not going to be able to sell. If there's not enough liquidity, you're going to have a lot of slippage, you're going to have a lot of price impact in your trade, and in some cases your trade, your swap is not even going to go through, and you're not going to be able to sell your bag. So potentially, the dev could make this project go to zero, and then you're not going to be able to sell anything, and your bags are going to be absolutely worthless. So the liquidity is something extremely important. There's a few things that you can do. So for instance, you can download this bot. It's called Soul Scanner. It's on Telegram. Just type Soul Scanner on Google and it's going to pop out. And you're going to be able to copy and paste the contract address of a project. So for instance, if you go on the name of the project, you click on it and you're going to be able to copy it. You paste it on this bot and it's going to give you some more information about the smart contract. So for instance, it's going to give you information about the mint and freeze. If the project has the mint function on, it means that the contract owner can essentially mint new tokens, and the supply, is going to increase, and the amount of your tokens are going to be essentially worthless if they do this. It's a massive red flag. So everything that has got the mint function on, absolutely avoid at all costs. And also the freeze. If the freeze function is on, it means that the smart contract owner can pretty much pause the transaction and pause the trading for the project, which is another thing that is absolutely far from ideal. And another thing is the LP. The LP must be burned, because otherwise there's going to be a massive chance that the project can rug. If the LP is not burned, it means that the dev is going to be able to pull out liquidity. So again, you're not going to be able to sell. You're probably going to see your investment go to zero, and the team is going to be one step closer to pulling a rug on you. And I would much rather stay away, if you ask me. Another thing is the volume. The volume is another very important indicator. So if you're looking at new projects, you usually want to see projects that have a higher volume than the market cap. So for instance, in this random project that I pulled out on DEX screener, I can see that the volume of transaction is higher than the market cap. That is usually a good sign. For a project that is more of a blue chip, I will be looking into something that is at least 20 to 30% of the volume to market cap ratio, meaning that if the project has 1 million in market cap, I would like to see at least 200 to 300K in daily volume. And another big indicator that you need to see is the relation of the movement of the volume towards the market cap. So for instance, if the market cap and the price decrease, and at the same time the volume of transaction decreases, that is a big flag. If on the other hand, the price decreases but the volume increases, it means that there's a lot of attention in the project. But if the volume is slowly dying while the price is slowly dying as well, then it means that the project could be headed towards the abyss. It could be headed towards absolute zero. So you want to avoid projects like this, because if a project has a very low volume, chances are that the project is not going to be revived anytime soon. You want something something that is at a steady volume, at a very high volume, or at least recovering in volume. If the volume is going down, the attention is fading away from the project, the attention is going towards other narratives, other projects. So it's something very important for you guys to understand. The next point that I'm gonna make is the number of holders. Very important thing. And not just the number of holders, but also the percentage allocation. So for instance, for this project, I can say that it's absolute trash. Look at this. The top 3 holders hold pretty much 40% of the supply. And probably the top 10 in this case hold more than half of the supply of this project. That is absolutely atrocious. Why? Because these people are gonna dump on you. Think about the person that has 10% of the total tokens that are emitted for this project. If they decide to dump, just do the calculation. 10% is 38K in market cap. The liquidity is 64K. That is more than half of the liquidity of the entirety of this project. If this guy decides to dump all these tokens, he's going to suck away more than half of the liquidity that is available right now. So there's going to be a massive impact on the price, and the project is going to essentially go to zero pretty much. So absolutely atrocious. And think about if this is the same person holding multiple wallets. People that come to me usually think that, oh, okay, this is one person, this is one person. But in the majority of instances, this is not the case. What the devs do, because they want to be a little smarter than the normies, is that they split the wallet allocation into multiple addresses. And by having multiple wallet addresses, they're going to split, you know, this evenly, or perhaps not even evenly. Like sometimes they do different numbers, sometimes they put the exact same number. So I'm going to show you both cases in a second. But this is atrocious because it's, even if a project looks fairly fair launch, definitely not the case in this one because the percentages are massive, but even if a project that could look relatively fair launch, it's not going to be like that because it's the same freaking person having 10 different tabs on Google Chrome with 10 different wallet addresses. So again, something that you don't want to see unless you want to get rugged. So for instance, I told you earlier that Black Elon Musk looks like an absolute scam. This is just screaming scam to me. And you know what I do? I go into the wallet addresses and I see exactly what I meant. You see all of these projects? You see how it looks, oh, there's a lot of holders. There's very tiny allocations. These wallets are all 0.61 or 0.60%. So I can guarantee you, you look at this, this is exactly the same person with a shitload of addresses, and it's gonna pull a rug sooner than later. Check out, by the time that I'm watching this video, by the time that I'm posting this video, I am absolutely certain that this project will have rugged because this is just screaming for rug pull. But the inexperienced investors that just think, oh, there's a lot of holders, oh, the holders are very tiny and minimal allocations, so they're not, you know, there's not gonna be a big deal. This project is gonna perform very well. These people are gonna be rugged on, and they're going to become the exit liquidity of the shady character right there. So absolutely something that you want to avoid ASAP. And the last one, I'm going to keep it very straightforward, is the price impact. Usually try to avoid price impacts on Jupiter. Whatever decentralized exchange you're using, Uniswap, you're probably going to be using Uniswap if you're trading on Base. You're probably going to use Jupiter if you're trading on Solana meme coins. If you see a price impact that is above 5%, then it's absolutely too much. And you can do one or two things. You can just reduce the amount of money that you want to put overall, or you can split your buy evenly. So for instance, if you have a 6% of price impact on a 1K buy, then try to do 2 buys of 500 instead of 1 buy of 1K. Your price impact is probably going to be a half or at least vastly reduced. And by doing so, you're going to have much lower price impact. So you're going to have more tokens for the amount of money that you're putting in. That is absolutely important. So if you're incurring into this problem, either when selling or when buying, because of course it goes both ways, just reduce the size of your DCA and you'll thank me later because you're not going to lose as much money in the process. Okay, so that is pretty much it for this video. I'm sure that you were able to take a lot of value. I can't believe that I'm offering these videos for free, guys. This information that you're seeing right there is absolute gold. So you can't even imagine what you actually get by being part of my VIP group. The prices are increasing very, very soon. So by the time you're watching this video, the prices might have already been increased. So get in sooner than later to avoid disappointment because I don't provide discounts and the prices are never going to be this low ever again. You have been warned. And it's not just my trading signals, it's a variety of other benefits, the best alpha community in the crypto sphere right now, all my trading signals, private sales access, access to my courses if you decide to go for the lifetime elite membership, which in my opinion is the best value for money, and a lot of gains that are waiting for you. Honestly, you're probably going to get back the price of a lifetime membership in the matter of a single day if you just follow some buy alerts. Honestly, this is still so freaking cheap that it blows my mind, but it's not going to be like this for long. I hope to see you there and help you out with your crypto investing journey. And until then, take care for now.